The Galactic Council's xenobiologists had been unanimous in their assessment. Planet Xerion 7 was a dead world. The radiation levels measured at 847 times the lethal threshold for most known sentient species. Even the hardy Krillian miners, whose exoskeletons could withstand minor nuclear exposure, couldn't survive more than 6 minutes on the surface. The planet's twin suns had gone supernova 3 centuries ago, bathing everything in deadly gamma radiation that made the very air glow with malevolent energy, which was exactly why Dr. Sarah Chen had chosen it as her new home. Ambassador Veltar of the Thessian Empire watched through the reinforced viewing port of the orbital station, his 4 eyes blinking in disbelief. The human woman below moved across the irradiated wasteland as if she were taking a casual stroll through a garden. Her environmental suit was crude by galactic standards, bulky, primitive, patched together from salvaged parts. Yet somehow, impossibly, she was not only alive but actively constructing something. "The radiation readings must be malfunctioning," Veltar's aide whispered, mandibles clicking nervously. "I've run diagnostics 17 times, the Thessian replied, his translator struggling with the concepts. "The equipment is functioning perfectly. That human is working in lethal radiation that would kill us in moments, and she's been down there for 6 standard rotations." Dr. Chen paused in her work, wiping sweat from her brow through the suit's internal cleaning system. The foundation of her shelter was nearly complete. A sprawling complex that would eventually house not just herself, but the terraforming equipment she'd been developing for the past decade. She glanced up at the orbital station, knowing the aliens were watching, probably trying to understand how she was still breathing, if only they knew the truth. The Galactic Council viewed radiation as an insurmountable barrier, a force of pure destruction that ended all biological processes. They had evacuated dozens of worlds after minor radiation incidents, writing off entire systems as uninhabitable. But humans had a different relationship with radiation. They had learned to live with it, adapt to it, and eventually harness it. Sarah's modifications weren't visible from the outside. The nanobots in her bloodstream had been calibrated to repair cellular damage faster than the radiation could cause it. Her bones had been reinforced with synthetic materials that actually grew stronger under bombardment. Most importantly, her nervous system had been rewired to process the constant energy influx and convert it into enhanced cognitive function. She wasn't just surviving the radiation, she was thriving because of it. 3 days later, Veltar received permission to send a probe to investigate the human's construction. The images it transmitted back defied everything the Galactic Council knew about physics and biology. The human had built not just a shelter, but a thriving garden. Plants grew in neat rows, their leaves glowing softly with absorbed radiation. Water flowed through channels carved into the radioactive stone, creating a closed-loop ecosystem that seemed to feed on the very energy that should have killed everything. "Impossible," breathed Dr. Kethavar, the Council's chief xenobiologist. "Those plant forms, they're converting gamma radiation directly into usable energy. It's like photosynthesis but using deadly radiation instead of sunlight." Sarah smiled as she tended to her crops, knowing the aliens were watching. Each plant had been genetically modified using techniques that would horrify the squeamish council members. She had taken Earth vegetables and enhanced them with genes from extremophile bacteria, creating hybrid organisms that not only tolerated radiation, but required it to function. Her tomatoes were sweeter than any grown under natural sunlight, enriched by the constant energy bombardment. The shelter itself was a marvel of human engineering adapted to impossible conditions. The walls were lined with a specialized polymer that absorbed radiation and converted it to electricity, powering the entire complex. The air recycling system didn't just filter out radioactive particles, it concentrated them, creating zones of ultra-high radiation that Sarah used for manufacturing and materials processing. 6 months after the first observation, Sarah's small shelter had become a sprawling complex. She had built workshops, laboratories, living quarters, and even a communications array. The Galactic Council's monitoring station detected signals being transmitted to Earth, not distress calls but technical specifications and progress reports. Ambassador Veltar finally worked up the courage to attempt direct communication. His transmission was simple. "Human, how do you survive?" Sarah's response came back immediately, cheerful and matter-of-fact. "Survive? I'm not just surviving. I'm building the future. This radiation you're so afraid of? It's the most abundant energy source in the universe. While you run from it, we've learned to dance with it." She gestured to her thriving complex, visible now even from orbit. "Earth sent me here to establish humanity's first post-scarcity colony. No fuel shortages, no energy crises. Just endless free power falling from the sky 24 hours a day. By next year, we'll have our first 1,000 colonists arriving." The implications hit the Galactic Council like a supernova. Humans didn't see radiation as a barrier. They saw it as an opportunity. Every dead world the Council had written off, every radiation-soaked system they had evacuated represented prime real estate in human eyes. The species that other civilizations feared and avoided, humans embraced and transformed into their greatest advantage. As Sarah continued her daily routine, tending radioactive gardens and building impossible structures, the rest of the galaxy began to understand a fundamental truth about humanity. They didn't just adapt to hostile environments. They made hostile environments adapt to them, and in a universe full of radiation, that made humans the ultimate inheritors of creation itself.